Dave, good morning. How you feeling?
I am doing good, fellas. Everything is good. Just getting settled in for a little bit down here in Naples, and no complaints. Everything's good.
What was your thought and the biggest first takeaway from the Super Bowl matchup, Dave, and what we saw in the conference championship games?
Oh, my first thought was Seattle has been playing the best football probably of anybody in the NFL, offense, defense, special teams. So with Sam Darnold coming through and playing like he played, they're probably the most deserving team from a standpoint of how they've consistently played. There was a part of me, though, I think that, just with Matthew Stafford and stuff, I don't know. I think I got a little soft spot for him. But Seattle's the best team. I mean, they should be in. And I'll tell you what, Mike Vrabel and those guys with a bunch of young players, I mean, they're similar to the Bears from the standpoint of, the young quarterback, the young offensive line, young running backs. I mean, they are getting, a lot of mileage out of first and second year players, and give them credit for that. Absolutely.
Coach, Sam Darnold outplayed Matthew Stafford. I wouldn't be surprised if Stafford is named the MVP. If he's not named the MVP, then it's probably going to be Drake May. Does Darnold have to outplay another MVP for them to win the Super Bowl?
Wow. I think he does. I mean, very seldom Super Bowl. I can think of Baltimore, maybe the Bears 85 team, but very few of them win the Super Bowl without your quarterback being a major factor. I mean, when I went with Dallas, we had the number one defense in the NFL, but Troy Aikman and Michael Irvin, those guys, they made the difference. They made the difference in the game. So I think he does. To answer your question, I think Sam Darnold needs to put together another performance like he did last weekend against the Rams.
So, Dave, I want you to listen to something here that we heard last week. We know you spoke with pride about Jeff Hafley taking over as the head coach of the Miami Dolphins, where you once worked. We know your history with Hafley. And he was asked when he took the job at the press conference, here's what he had to say about one of his big mentors.
Dave Wannstedt was a big one. Former Miami Dolphin head coach. He's a guy that I still talk to every week, treats people the right way, believed in me, taught me so much, treated my family the right way, and then is so important to me, and he taught me those things.
That's pretty cool, Dave.
Way to go.
Yeah, and I did call him. I did text him. He talked about sleeping under a desk. Now, guys, you know me better than that. For 2 years. I called. In fact, I just talked to him 15 minutes ago here at the doctor's office. But I called him after that, and I said, "You don't tell me you're hiring some young guys that are going to be sleeping under the desk for 2 years." I mean, come on. I mean, I would never do that to anybody. Are you kidding me? You guys know me well enough, both of you.
You used to allow them to sleep on the desk just for their back.
Yeah. Now, he was in there early. It is hilarious. It is hilarious how I hired him, because I used to always open the doors to coaches coming in. If they want to learn, I always looked at it this way. Older coaches were good to me. Me and Tony Wise would get in the car. We drove to Cleveland. We drove to Kansas City. We would drive everywhere in the summer to try to learn football from the NFL guys. So I opened my door to these college coaches when they came into Pittsburgh to recruit in May. That's spring recruiting back then. And this guy was always in the office. And I ran into him like 3 times at the coffee machine. And our secondary coach left. And I said, "What's the deal with this Hafley guy?" I said, "He's always here." And I said to him, "Hey, Jeff, you want a job? You might as well be working here. You're here." And he says, "Coach, I'll start tomorrow." I said, "You're hired." That's how it happened.
Oh, my God. That's fantastic.
That's tremendous.
Oh, yeah. That's a true story. True. There was no interview. I saw him. It wasn't. I'm over-exaggerating about every day. But it was during the month of May, it was at least 2 or 3 days a week. And he was in there early for the meetings and at night. I said, you might as well just work here. That's what he did.
You love a man with a work ethic. That's what the story is, and you certainly have one yourself, Dave. I'm curious, when you look at that, that damages the Packers a little bit. I think that hurts them. And I know they hired Gannon, and he was a former head coach, and he was a defensive coordinator with the Eagles. But I think Hafley did an excellent job.
And there was nothing that impressive about Jonathan Gannon's tenure as a head coach.
Not in Arizona, no.
Yeah, and probably what'll happen, I know, he hired Bobby Slowick. You remember Slowick when he was with the Bears?
Yeah.
Bobby was my defensive coordinator here, and this is his kid. I remember him, he was running around the Bears offices at Old Hallis Hall when he was going to Stevenson High School. I mean, this is how times have changed. And he really got screwed over, in my opinion. At Houston, he had a fabulous 2 years as a coordinator with C.J. Stroud, if you remember. He went to the Pro Bowl. And then I don't know what happened. So I think that was a great hire. And that's Bobby's kid, used to be a Bears coach. And then what's going to happen, I'll bet you, and I don't know this for a fact, but you watch Gannon's going to come in there and say, I want to bring this guy, and this guy with me on my defensive staff. It happens everywhere, every year on the league. And so there's going to be some defensive guys that get put out at Green Bay, and Jeff's going to have a chance to, if he wants to grab a couple of those guys that have been working with him for a couple of years. So it could fall pretty good for him from a staff standpoint.
Speaking of staff decisions, what do you make of Declan Doyle being interviewed by the Eagles and pulling out of that consideration, and now he's going to be presumably,
interviewing in Baltimore.
They've requested, the Ravens have requested permission to interview Declan Doyle. Not quite sure what will come of that, but how do you view the future for Declan Doyle and what that says about Ben Johnson?
Yeah, I think it's awesome. But it's I don't. You know what? The rules have changed so much with who you can talk to and who you can hire and when you can do it. I thought he was the offensive coordinator at the Bears, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
So I mean, I don't know how.
So he's going to the same. The difference is, I think, the Bears would let him go to be a play caller.
That's the distinction.
I think that's it. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. That's very
but they
nice
have to go
then.
along with it, Dave. You're right. You can't let a guy just go from your offensive coordinator to their offensive coordinator unless you give permission. So it's good of Ben Johnson to not stand in the way of the guy.
Yeah, there's a guy at Minnesota now, Brian Angelico, who I hired the same time I hired Hafley at Pittsburgh. He's the passing game coordinator now for the Vikings, and there's a good chance that he's going with McCarthy as the coordinator.
Wow. Oh, wow.
And they're letting him go because he's not calling the plays, but he has a title of passing game coordinator. These guys put titles on him, but it still comes down to I think that's really admirable of Ben Johnson.
Yes.
If he's letting him do that with the same title, because he could block him. He could technically, by the contract, say he could say, no, you're not going to interview anywhere, and that would be the end of it. But so that's pretty good.
Dave, what did you think of Pittsburgh hiring Mike McCarthy? What did you think? I mean, obviously you're from there, as is he. He's a good dude, but he's 62 now, taking over a job where they hire coaches for life, for God's sake, and yet this is not a guy that you think will be there. I mean, it'd be great if he made it 5 years, but 3, 4, whatever.
Yeah, well, you look at the history of the Steelers. Chuck Noll, first-time head coach, defensive coordinator. Bill Cowher, first-time head coach, defensive coordinator. Yep. Mike Tomlin, first-time head coach, defensive coordinator. So that's why I thought Shula would get it. I thought Chris Shula would get it. And then I heard that the offensive coordinator at the Rams, help me out with his name.
Nathan Shieldhouse.
Nathan Shieldhouse, that he had an unbelievable interview. I was told from inside people there, and they really were high on him. And then with Mike, I think the whole thing came down to the quarterback situation there is in flux. Whether it's Aaron again or a draft pick or the backup kid from Ohio State, whoever the quarterback thing, I think they looked at it and said, offense is our priority right now, and we need somebody that can put in an offense, that knows an offense, and can help the quarterback. And I think that overrided everything as far as the decision making. And Mike worked with Omar, who's the GM of the Steelers. They worked together at the Saints back in the day with Jim Haslett. So they're all connected that way also.
And, Dave, we'll hear today from Mike McCarthy when they introduce him just how much he valued and loved the Steelers growing up in Pittsburgh, maybe always aspired to be part of the organization, and now his career has come full circle. Just curious, as somebody who maybe followed a similar path and is a son of Pittsburgh, did you have a similar aspiration one day? You were in coaching. You had 2 legacy jobs, and I just wondered if you ever aspired to be the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
You know what? There's a part of you, I think, with anybody's ego that would say yes, but, I mean, guys, they were booing Mike Tomlin this year, okay? I mean, come on. I love Mike McCarthy. He's one of my bros in Pittsburgh, but, man, that's a short leash. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you. That is a crowd there, a lot like Chicago fans, where they expect the standard is the standard. Now, what the hell ever the standard is, I don't know, but the standard is Super Bowls, obviously, for the Steelers, but no, that's a tough one. And their defense, think about it now. Look, you got to look at the big picture. I mean, it's the Steelers and the Rooneys are. Art and I had lunch together when I was back there this past summer. And Mike came down, sat with us when I was back there for the U.S. Open in June, and Art and I ate at the Steeler facility. So they're all as good of people as you're going to find. First class, okay?
Yes,
that's all the positive, and they want to win. That's all the positive. I mean, they're the fans, but look at their team. Look at their team. Quarterback situation. The defense is in debt, and they're old. I mean, they have a lot of work to do, guys. They truly do.
Yeah, it's interesting. There are still 4 jobs left open, Dave, and as you look around the league, and what an extraordinary turnover. We never expected there would be 10 openings in the NFL. And I don't want to say they were all fired because Tomlin probably left of his own device. He's probably had enough of it. But I just think the turnover level, when you got a league of 32 teams and 10 jobs open and you're still trying to fill them, it speaks volumes about where this league is at.
Well, I said this, I think I said this on Spiegel and Lawrence's show, but the NFL, as you guys know as well as anybody, these owners don't know enough about football.
Yes.
So they get caught up in what's hot, what's the fad, what's going on. Oh, they're winning Super Bowls by being a blitzing team. We want to blitz. Fire my coordinator and get a blitzer. We want to run the ball. Everybody's running it. Now everybody's throwing it. So we don't want to run the ball. Running backs were useless when Kansas City was winning their first couple Super Bowls because they were throwing it with Mahomes. So this is how the owners look at it. And guess what? Just go through the list, and you guys might have to help me here. Bears, first-year head coach, win the division. New England, Vrabel, first-year head coach, win the division. There's 4 of them. Carolina, win the division.
Jacksonville.
Yes.
Thank you. Jacksonville, first-year head coach, win the division. So these owners are sitting back saying, what do I need Jim Harbaugh for? And Tom, all these coaches, I can get rid of them, and I can go get a first-year head coach, and he's going to come in here, and he's going to win me a division. I guarantee you that influenced these owners. I know how they think.
Dave, also, you look at Mike McDonald as a second-year head coach, has his team in the Super Bowl. Yeah. He's a defensive version of Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
And you look at Ben Johnson's success, and you think that these owners will be as impatient as ever. And if these guys don't win in the first year or so or look like they're about to, they're easy to launch, and you end up with more coaches getting paid not to work as they do getting paid to work.
Absolutely, and that's what they're looking at. I think this is just all my opinion, guys, but I know how these guys think, and they what's hot is hot, and let's go this way, and you remember when Kansas City was winning? And remember who was trying to get a contract for like $7-8 million? Derrick Henry, and nobody would pay him. Remember that?
Yes.
They said, "Oh, the running backs are not valuable."
Right.
And then now all of a sudden, the teams that can run the ball, you just get on the list. I mean, the Bears beat the Packers in my mind because the Packers didn't want to run the ball.
Yes.
And you can go just look at the playoff teams. God, that guy from Seattle, Walker the third. I was doing my Big Ten shows when he was at. He turned Michigan State around by himself. That one year when Michigan State won 10 games, guys, it was all about Kenneth Walker. He was the guy that did that for Michigan State.
Dave, are field goals banned in the NFL playoffs? Are they just not allowed anymore? That Sean Payton decision, I don't know if you heard, but apparently Seth Wickersham, a reporter, is kind of embedded with Payton. He must be writing a book. I don't know what he's doing. But he said that he watched the game with him, the Chicago game, and that he was like, kick a field goal, kick a field goal. He was basically couldn't believe that the Bears weren't kicking a field goal. And then he goes out there, and he's got a weather report. He knows the storm's coming. They're up 7. You kick a field goal, you're up 10, you're up 2 score. I mean, it was so crazy that he decided to go for it by throwing with his backup quarterback. I don't know.
And it wasn't inches. It wasn't inches.
No.
It was 4th and 4, 4th and 5 again, just like the Bears. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to.
You must go nuts.
Coaches.
But you must go nuts. I mean, your football sensibility is get the points.
I won a hell of a lot of games early on kicking field goals on 4th and 1, 4th and 2, and we didn't use the analytics. The head coaches were the analytics. Okay, I want to get points and keep the momentum and keep my confidence. We looked at more that way than just numbers. And nowadays, they're paying 2 guys to sit in the press box with computers. So
the analytics said kick it apparently in that situation with Sean Payton. So
it did say kick. So he broke analytics. He did everything.
Wow.
It's hard to defend.
It's tough, Dave. Good stuff.
Dave, you're the best.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you, buddy.
Okay, guys. See you. Thank you.
Stay warm down there.
That is our guy. Oh, yeah, stay warm down there.